Why is it called Godzilla Minus One? I never figured that out.
Yeah, I forgot to look into that.
Okay. Quality film review in here.
Hello and welcome to Woodshed Reviews, where we look at films old and new, good and bad. And tonight we're going to look at the 33rd Godzilla film from Japan, Godzilla Minus One.
33rd, is it?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit behind then in my Godzilla lore. Yourself?
Yeah, I've not seen any of the Japanese Godzilla films for a while. I believe you're going to do a ranking over Christmas of all 33 films?
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, but this is a sort of but something of a reboot, I guess.
I believe so, and it was released on the 70th anniversary of the original film.
Yeah.
So quite a big deal.
Yeah, it's still going strong, and it's taken a while for it to come to our shores up here in the Northlands, but something of a sleeper hit it seems to be.
Yeah, I mean, I knew nothing about it, and when you said we're going to see Godzilla, I assumed it was the new American Godzilla film. So I was pleasantly surprised when I realised it was actually a Japanese film.
Godzilla? Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid stuff all throughout. Very good in places. One of probably my most overall favourite Godzilla film that I can think of, and I mean I am comparing that to a lot of the American ones, obviously, because they're a bit more prominent in my mind. I've seen them a little bit more.
Yeah.
For example, obviously there was the Roland Emmerich one in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Gareth Edwards rebooted it about 10 years, maybe less than 10 years
2014,
ago.
I think it was.
2014. And then there's a few sequels to that have kind of gone all over the place.
They've gone a bit crazy with it.
As Godzilla tends to do, yes, I think so.
Fair enough, yeah.
But yeah, so this is one that's kind of back to, I mean, the first, other than the first one that I know of, first one that's kind of like back to Godzilla post-World War II nuclear war analogy. So that was interesting to sort of see that properly, you know, back to scratch kind of Godzilla film right off the bat. So that was enjoyable.
Yeah, there's a bit of history there. It felt quite authentic to what happened to Japan, and Tokyo's been totally destroyed, and survivors are coming together. We've got our failed kamikaze pilot.
The main character, we join him as he's feigning engine trouble with his plane on his kamikaze mission. He's obviously having second thoughts about it, understandably.
So there's a team of mechanics having a look at the plane, and
we're going, seems all right. And then we get right off the bat a reveal of, I guess, not the full Godzilla. I don't know if it's him in sort of infant sort of stage or pre sort of like being metamorphosized by an atomic blast, I think it implies later on. So
at this stage, kind of got a kind of baby Godzilla, which is still quite massive.
Still scary enough, yeah. I was in two thoughts about the reveal of that, because it's quite just, there's no sort of like, normally with something like this, there's a bit of a gradual build-up and a gradual reveal to the creature itself, or if it doesn't, it could be a monster film or an alien film or something like that. There's always a sort of slight build-up, but this was very kind of just much more realistic, I suppose. I guess if it was a real Godzilla, he's not going to pose for sort of filmic scene shots and stuff like that, you know. It's just kind of like they hear something, they put on a spotlight, and there's Godzilla.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's certainly different tactic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you said, you usually get a build-up, but I like that, you know, thrown into it straight away. And there's a big Godzilla Rampage scene. He kills everyone apart from our kamikaze pilot and one of the mechanics. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you do the big slow reveal and see little bits of it for good reason, and it works, you know. But it's nice to kind of like go, okay, well, this is, as you're saying, the 33rd Godzilla film.
Yeah.
Let's mix it up a little bit, you know. So, yeah, that was appreciated.
我々しかこの国の未来を切り開くことはできない。
あの怪物の生態は未知のことが多すぎて。
You know, there's some kind of commentary on Japan and the authorities and their part in the war and their how they treated their citizens and stuff like that. It was
trying to find a national identity after all this devastation.
Yeah.
It's quite a tough one.
Yeah.
Because they were just numbers, really. They didn't really care about their people.
Yeah, there's a line about someone talks about how, you know, all the different ways, like just with like not caring about the tanks that they were giving them, they weren't properly built or defended or anything like that, to just sending them off in kamikaze missions, you know.
Yeah, and the planes didn't have parachutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which becomes a plot point. I think we're following our main guy for a little bit before that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Returning to
Tokyo.
Tokyo, yeah.
Yeah. He meets a woman who found a child, a baby. She kind of hooks up with her pilot, and they kind of form a kind of makeshift family. And he's still suffering from survival guilt.
He ends up getting work sweeping for mines.
Yeah, minesweeper, yeah.
On the ocean. A couple of boats doing a sort of quite rudimentary makeshift kind of way of kind of detonating these mines and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know if that was realistic or anything, but...
Well, certainly the sea was full of mines back then.
Sure.
A lot of mines. So there would have been mine sweeping operations.
Yeah.
No idea how they went about it, so maybe it could have been like that.
Possibly. Maybe a little bit of artistic license, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
So they're kind of doing that, and obviously they get entangled eventually with the full-grown Godzilla along the way.
Yeah, and I think that leads to one of my favourite scenes, is when Godzilla's swimming after the boat.
Yeah.
That was really tense. I thought that was really well done. I thought Godzilla had a great presence. It felt real. I just loved the way this film was shot. It was quite grounded.
Yeah.
It wasn't over the top and flashy. I loved the physics when he's throwing parts of the carriage all over the place. It just felt real, like it, you know, the way it would hit the buildings and tumble.
Yeah.
I thought all that stuff was good. And even when she's hanging in the carriage, you know, it's a bit over the top. I thought it was well done. And the way she survives that by dropping into the ocean.
Yeah, sure.
You know, by the skin of her teeth. Felt, believable. Whereas when we've seen stuff like that before, it's not so believable.
Yeah, I mean, it is that thing where it's like, even within this film, it was probably the most elevated kind of action scene, but that would be nothing in a normal Godzilla film, you know. I mean, I can't remember, it was one I saw a couple of years ago, because it was Godzilla versus King Kong, and it was just completely nuts.
I know.
They went to the centre of the earth and they were fighting in 0G or something like that. I'm maybe making this up now.
That was crazy, that one.
Yeah, so compared to that,
so that one's more like a theme park ride, like as Scorsese would say, whereas this felt more grounded, with characters you could believe in.
Well, I think that was the main thing, and I think why I like this film, and I would say it's my favourite Godzilla film, having not seen about 30 of them, but, you know, of the ones that I've seen, because it's got good, relatable, well-written human characters in it, and I think that's been lacking, and even... You know, you had the Gareth Edward one, which a lot of people raved about and liked it a lot. I found it was okay. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
But the human characters were totally lacking in that, for my money.
Whereas in this one, I think they're the centre stage, really. Our pilot hero, it says film, it says arc.
Yeah. He's got a proper story. You understand why he does what he does, why he feels the way he does, the actions that he takes. We follow them quite a lot with their relationship and stuff. It's an awkward relationship. It's interesting and all that stuff. And it takes a bit of a turn when a Godzilla attack after she's initially kind of rescued from this attack.
Yeah, Godzilla goes into the city and just starts totally demolishing it.
Yeah, what has it got a name for that thing?
Atomic breath?
Atomic breath, is
or,
it? I've heard it called a few different things. I
Yeah.
don't know what the, like, heat ray, atomic...
Heat ray, I've heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, and the blast kind of ends up, well, we'll get into spoilers, obviously. Killing the young girl.
Presumably
killing her. Yeah.
I definitely felt she was a goner.
I did as well, and I don't want to sound like a psychopath, but I kind of thought that should have been, if they're going to go with that, that's kind of what they should have went with.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that, I suppose.
銀座を襲ったあいつ大島だゴジラですよね
I thought it was great storytelling, really well directed and put together. I just loved the shots and the construction of sequences. It's not crazy shots flying about all over the place.
No.
Felt really grounded.
Most of it felt real, or the CGI was pretty good, pretty well done.
It's very good, and it only cost 15 million.
Apparently people are saying it cost 15 million, and the director's like going, I wish it cost 15 million.
Right, okay.
And I had a look on Wikipedia, and I think it's the first time I've ever seen, what's that sort of less than sign on the budget? So it's like less than 15 million.
Okay.
So I think there's obviously some discrepancy going on. But even if we say 15 million, I mean, that's a fraction of the cost probably of what a Godzilla versus Kong or
absolutely
cost, and like that. And it, like we're saying, it doesn't have the same amount of action as that, but I think it's got enough, and it's got what it does. It does well.
Yeah, it's better for it because it's not going over the top all the time.
Yeah,
it's got a few moments where it does, show you something crazy.
Yeah,
but it feels like you can go with it.
Yeah,
because it's just seldom you see bits like that.
Possibly that's why it struck a chord with people. Maybe people are just going, yeah, this is kind of, why aren't you doing more of this? Why aren't studios doing a lot more of this instead of spending 200 million on a film? You could get, well, how many of these films can you get for that? Do you know what I mean?
For
Not
sure.
good with my math, but a lot.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, and I just love Godzilla in it. Really great presence.
Yeah.
You felt fearful for our characters, in case Godzilla turned around to look towards them, and so that worked really well.
And plus, I mean, we'll maybe need to get into this, but plus, initially when the young girl dies, you're like, okay, well, who's gonna live? And then you kind of our main character is gonna fulfill his kamikaze sort of status by flying into Godzilla armed with a bomb. So you're like, yeah, maybe this is going to be really dark and it's going to end there. That would probably be my biggest complaint with the film, is that both I don't know. It's a difficult one because you don't want him to be a kamikaze pilot, but maybe sacrifice himself to save everyone, which he'd failed to do before.
Yeah.
Still manages to do it, but he escapes because they fit his plane, unbeknownst to us at the time.
Yeah, so the film does that thing where the mechanics in the cockpit with our pilot, and he's showing them a few things, and he says, there's something else I want to show you. But then we cut away to a wide shot, and we don't hear it. I don't like it when things are hidden.
なんで俺たちこんなところに呼ばれたんですか政府はこの情報を国民に伏せています誰かが貧乏くじ引かなきゃなんねんだよみんな死んだぞこの恥知らず
And then the young girl turns up that she has been found and she's in a hospital, and she doesn't look that badly. She didn't look that badly damaged.
No, I mean, yeah, she would have been hit with all sorts of shrapnel, and
I think if they'd had her on some sort of life support machine,
yes,
that might have kind of I might have bought into it a little more.
No, I agree with you. It didn't feel quite right, these bits. Yeah. Maybe another thing I didn't like was the kind of sequel baiting stuff, which it didn't need. There was some sort of mark on her neck. I don't know what that implies.
It was kind of growing, like it was like infected her blood veins or something like that. Right. It looked like, you know.
Okay. And, yeah, and then we see Godzilla is in fact not dead, and he's
starting to regenerate, slowly. Yeah.
Which, in the back of my mind, we guess that, but I mean, save it for the next one. You don't need to show these things. I mean, it's fine if they do another one, obviously, but it would be nice if they had just, worked as a standalone and not had the sequel baiting stuff in it. Just
I would agree with that. But yeah, that kind of just brought it down a little smidge for me. But can't say fairer than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great film overall, I think.
Yep, definitely. Nice to probably the last cinema trip of the year for me. So nice to end it on a high. There's been quite a few turkeys this year, so
it's been a strange year.
Right, well, I'm gonna give it. I wasn't sure talking about it when I came in, but talking about it, I think I'm gonna give it a 4. 4 logs on the fire for Godzilla Minus One.
Yeah, and I'm going to match you there with 4 logs.
Yeah, I think that's about right, yeah.
Definitely the best Godzilla film I've seen.
Yep, not seen them all, so we're not experts yet, but worth checking out.
Yeah, so if we get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, we'll rank them all.
We'll be big in Japan.
Godzilla Minus One.
Okay. Right, well, that's all we've got for you today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you in the new year.
Take care.